Good evening. I'd like to call to order tonight's regular City Commission meeting for September 21st, 2020. Can we get a roll call, Ted?
Mayor Young.
Here.
Commissioner Guthrie is out this evening. Commissioner Lewis.
Yeah.
Commissioner Badway.
Here.
And Commissioner Wilkinson.
Present.
And tonight, to deliver the invocation is Pastor Debbie McClure from the Nazarene Church.
Good evening.
Father, we are grateful today for your blessings and for your love that is unfailing to each of us. I pray tonight that you will give the leaders of this city discernment and direction as they do business that has to be done for the city. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right, could everybody please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I don't see any proclamations or recognitions, so we'll move on to personal appearances. Personal appearances are opportunities for organizations or citizens to make special presentations before the City Commission. Such appearances are scheduled in advance of the meeting by calling City Clerk Tabitha Sharp at 316-321-9100 by 5 p.m. on the Tuesday preceding the meeting. Personal appearance presentations are limited to 10 minutes, and any presentation is for information purposes only, and no formal action will be taken. Tabitha, do you have any personal appearances tonight?
There are none this evening.
Thank you. Next is public comment. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda and that are under the jurisdiction of the City Commission may do so when called upon. Comments on personnel matters and matters pending in court are not permitted. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Any presentation is for information purposes only, and no formal action will be taken. Citizens with information for the City Commission are encouraged to contact City Clerk Tabitha Sharp at 316-321-9100 for instructions on alternative ways for communicating with the City Commission. Do we have anybody here tonight that would like to make public comment? All right, seeing that there are none, we'll move along to the consent agenda. Now, tonight's consent agenda is the approval of the City Commission minutes from September 8th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Move that the consent agenda is presented be approved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. I don't see any old business on the agenda. And so we'll move on to new business. Agenda item number 9, the excess sales tax project recommendations. Who's going to talk about that?
We have Dan here from the Excess Sales Tax Committee.
Hi, Dan.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the commission, my name is Dan Davis. I'm here on behalf of the Excess Sales Tax Committee. We are here to submit our recommendation for use of funds. This year, our committee was tasked with appropriating $382,447. The projects presented totaled to $528,602. So we were examining how to trim $146,155 from that proposal. Do you want me to go through item by item? Is that the easiest way for recommendation purposes? Okay. Our proposed project, for starters, the committee made the following funding recommendations. There was $4,000 from a previous project that was not completed that is kind of going back to the project or to the drawing board. Those funds were going to be added back into the excess sales tax fund. We did recommend allocating the $300,000 for additional property tax reduction, as is tradition there. The proposed projects that we would recommend funding were the Riverview Playground for the amount of $60,000, the McDonald's Stadium Project Bank, funding that with an additional $50,000, Funding the Civic Center parking lot at $141,402. Funding the spray park pump equipment replacements at $20,000. Funding the senior center painting at $7,400. The Central East bleachers at $25,845. The park maintenance shop painting at $4,800. The Graham Park Playground North at $50,000. The East Park batting cage at $15,000. And then we wanted to allot $8,000 to help with a shortfall from a 2017 project involving McDonald's Stadium for an electrical project there. And that was our recommendations.
Do you have specific information about the Riverview Playground?
Certainly. As you all know, the Riverview Playground is just east here by the apartment complex. It's a very old wooden structure. The Parks and Rec Department had that as a high priority item. We've had that on our recommendation list for at least 2 years now. So this would be replacing that with an entire new play structure.
Okay, and what about Graham Park Playground North?
That would be the same issue, I believe. It's still an old wooden structure, is that correct?
We have Kevin here to answer any of these questions.
Hi, Kevin.
If you'd like. While he comes up, I want to note that they had one other recommendation, that if there's any savings from any of these projects next year, that those savings be put into the McDonald's Stadium Bank, again, for future projects like the turf replacement or anything else that needs to be done there.
As, as Dan said, the Graham North Playground is the oldest playground equipment at Graham Park. It's nearest the splash pad. That equipment was done probably 20 years ago. It is not a wood structure. It is a plastic structure. It's just used its useful life and needs to be replaced.
Thank you.
Do you know how much money we've got in that Mac Stadium project bank, Kevin?
Last year, the committee funded $40,000, and this year's request for 50, so we would be up to 90.
Okay.
And that, the Max Stadium Project Fund is for things such as turf repair, turf replacement, structural repair that
Correct.
needs done.
Really, it was designed initially to start preparing for replacement of the turf, but the fence will need to be addressed as well. There are some things in the restrooms that will need to be addressed, so it's
Right.
major projects at McDonald's Stadium.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, thank you.
We're also getting ready to replace the irrigation system in the outfield so that it's all one system, so that it will prevent leakage, so that we don't have to go in with a backhoe, tear up systems and create problems during the season. So they're getting ready to look at doing that here very quickly so we can take advantage of the off-season and then the growing seasons that are going to be coming up as well.
So the bleachers for Central and East Park, those additional or just replacement?
This would be replacement of the existing bleachers. The initial request was for more than that. The committee, in weighing out and making tough decisions, reduced this funding request this year, which is still a big benefit to us. We have several sets of bleachers that have been vandalized over the years. We've had theft from some of the bleachers over the years. So this starts the process.
Who steals a bleacher?
So someone like loads a bleacher up in the back of their
No,
Prius and
they
takes
take it
off?
apart.
Or take it apart?
So the footboards, the seating, overnight on weekends, they're disassembled and pieces are hauled away. So
Okay,
this isn't an everyday occurrence, but it's occurred about 3 times in the last 18 months.
wow, okay. Do you guys have any other questions for Dan or Kevin? Thank you so much thank you for your volunteer work on the committee as well. It's very important. So we have a couple of motions, I think that we need to go through, right? So it's, part of it is reallocating some of those funds from the activity center last year, and then approving these projects, right?
I move to reallocate the excess sales tax funds for the activity center to the excess sales tax fund for use on other sales tax projects.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
I move to accept the recommendation of the excess sales tax committee.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Next on the agenda is, let me get back up here to it. Application to rezone 2235 West Towanda Avenue. Thanks, Dan.
Good evening, Commissioners. We have an application to rezone 3.6 acres at 2235 West Towanda Avenue. This property is currently zoned AR, agricultural residential. The proposed zoning is C1 general business. That is typically characterized as customer-driven businesses such as retail, restaurant, office, and a limited amount of automobile-based uses. The rezoning request meets our future land use map. It follows the commercial guidelines of our comp plan. It's a good fit. It represents the current uses on the property as well as in the long term. This is located outside of our city limits, but just inside our zoning jurisdiction in our ETJ, or what we call the growth area. Because of that, I sent out notices to 1,000 feet rather than our standard 200 feet. We had one phone call and one person show up to the public hearing. Both of those were representing the apartment complex there just to the north across Towanda. There were no opposition and no support. They just called and attended to learn more about the project. The Planning Commission heard this case and recommended approval. The Butler County Commission also heard the case and recommends approval. And I should backtrack. The purpose of this is that the person that operates the business here, Mr. John Walker, is the applicant. He has used this property for over 20 years, and he finally had the opportunity to purchase it. However, under agricultural residential zoning, the minimum lot size is 40 acres. C1 minimum lot size is 6,000. So it's the best fit for land uses in the current and the long term, and also allows him to purchase and split off this piece of property for his business.
I assume you mean 6,000 square feet, not 6,000 acres.
That is correct. Making sure you're awake. With that, I'll take any questions you might have on the case.
So it's just kind of bringing the property to the zoning of what it's actually being used for currently.
That is correct. There is a number of, I'll scoot forward a little bit. So this zoning here is what's within city limits, and so east of Haverhill and south of Towanda, the bulk of this land is owned by one landowner. And so a lot of these things that were developed were over 20 years ago, back before zoning even occurred in Butler County's areas. And so a lot of these things were just built. Butler County adopted their own zoning. They put this in agriculture, which is what we were handed when we took that in 2009. So yes, C1 is the best fit for it. It's just that the way it was developed was before zoning. Now, I can also say that this property has some unique challenges. So if Mr. Walker one day decides that he might want to sell it, we can't expect this entire property to be developed because there's pipeline easements and transmission lines crossing it.
Right.
And a lot of those cases, all you can do is put parking over it or under it, depending on which utility. So buildable space is actually pretty limited on this. Mr. Walker currently operates a small vehicle storage yard on there. Under this zoning, if you wanted to enlarge that, it would require a special use permit. So though he has not stated an intention to do so, it would come back before the Planning Commission and you guys.
Okay. Do you all have any additional questions? Do you have a motion?
A move to approve case number 20-02-REZ requesting a rezoning of 2235 West Towanda Avenue to C1 General Business District, and that ordinance number,
G 1336.
what she said, be approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion about this? Roll call vote, Tabitha.
Mayor Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Guthrie is absent. Commissioner Lewis.
Yes.
Commissioner Badway.
Yes.
And Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. That's all that's on our new business for tonight, so we're going to jump into agenda item number 11, reports. Commissioner Wilkinson.
Parks and Rec is going to meet Wednesday night. So next time I will have a report.
Library board canceled their meeting this month. Nothing had changed, and didn't see any reason to have a meeting to say nothing had changed, so we didn't have one.
There you go. Commissioner Lewis. I don't have anything to report other than I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow night from 5 to 7, 5:30 to 7, thank you, at the Civic Center is an opportunity to go down and kind of chat with some city staff and with a company that we've engaged to talk about branding and strategic planning and branding for the future of El Dorado. So I think it's a great conversation to be engaged with. I don't know if any of the commissioners are planning on being there. We can't all be there because then it'd have to be a meeting. So, but I would encourage the citizens to go down and engage. It's an opportunity to really be involved in how we brand El Dorado moving forward. So that's all I've got. I'm sorry.
I'm just clarification. So if 3 of us went, even if we didn't sit together, if you're in the same, we can't be in the same room? What if all of us went to a football game?
I mean, as long as you do not talk about city business and, what's the other, there's one other rule. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but as long as you don't talk about city business, you're fine. So if 3 or more of you go tomorrow, it's perfectly okay. Please sit separately and
Just
don't-
observe.
And just observe. That's, we brought the branding company to a work session a couple weeks ago, and so you guys have already talked to them. But if you want to come and hear what other people are saying, it's fine.
And I apologize, Nick. I think that's what I was referencing is if we go, we're not there to engage. I mean, we're there to kind of hear what everyone has to say, but I think as soon as we start, especially if there's 3 of us, start engaging, then it becomes a different, kind of a different.
Well, I know I plan on going.
So, yeah, to that point, if the commission would, wants to go and just listen to what's going on and really hear what the public has to say kind of firsthand, I think it's an opportunity to do that.
I do have a question, Tabitha.
Yes.
I've gotten a couple of calls about the survey, them completing it, doing submit, and it goes back to the beginning of the survey.
Yes, and I apologize, I meant to tell David this before we walked in here tonight, and I forgot. We found a problem with the electronic survey this afternoon. One of our employees tried it. A couple of us have tried it, and we made a change, and that change messed it up. So we changed it back. It is working again. Somebody submitted it this afternoon, so it should work just fine.
Okay, thank you.
And the survey we're doing and the branding initiative are 2 different things.
Sure.
In case you get that question.
Sure. That's all I've got, though. City manager's report?
Well, about the survey, so we have mailed a copy of the survey to every household in El Dorado. If they need additional copies, they can either call City Hall or come into City Hall, and we'd be glad to provide them a paper copy. Or in addition, they can also go to our website, and they can complete the survey online in electronic format, which would be relatively easy to do as well. I do want to say that, and our website is eldoks.com. So if you're going there, that would be the website you would use. In addition, we do have a wide variety of prizes this year. So last time we did a survey, we had 1 year's free utilities. This year we decided to kind of ramp it up a little bit. So we have several prizes that you can potentially win. To include, we have 2 $25 Chamber Buck certificates. We have a $25 gift card to Beijing's, $25 gift card to Willie's. We have a $50 gift card to Ace Hardware, We have a $50 gift card to Walnut Valley Packing. We have a $100 gift card to Dillon's, a $100 gift card to Walmart. The second place prize is a 1 month of free city-provided utilities. And then the grand prize is 1 year of free city-provided utilities with a value of up to, a maximum value of $1,200. So,
Good prizes.
put your name in and you may be eligible, you may win one of these fine prizes.
Very good.
That's great.
In addition, we've already mentioned the community forum tomorrow night. Encourage everybody to come down. Again, that starts at 5:30 at the Civic Center tomorrow night. And then the last thing I'd say is that sales tax receipts continue to show strength. Year to date, compared to last year, we are up nearly 3%. And I may remind you that last year was a record-breaking sales tax year amid a turnaround at Holly Frontier Refinery. So to say that we're ahead of that by 3% this year is outstanding. Last year, the city set the record for sales tax at $1.267 million, and right now we're 3% above that right now. So,
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So big thanks to the citizens and the visitors for getting out and spending money on the radio.
sorry.
Can you give us just a real quick update on how we're moving along with Prairie Trails and are we progressing on that in that arena right now?
Yes, so Ashley and I met with Troy Palmer and his staff probably about a week ago now. And based on that conversation, we had some questions to iron out. Ashley went back and prepared a draft of an agreement that we are providing Troy for his review. And once we get all the details ironed out on that agreement, we'll bring that before you all to get that transaction approved. And then we'll be completing that agreement. We're also working on getting the termination agreement between the city and Gray Life Golf and Fitness completed. And so we're working on that. And then Mr. Palmer is also helping with that to some degree as well, because Augusta's Country Club also had an agreement with Gray Life Golf and Fitness as well. So we're all trying to work on kind of the same path, and my hope is that in the front part, well, first to second part of October, we'll have this thing all ironed out, hopefully.
Good. Thank you. So on the agenda, thank you, David. On the agenda, we don't have any executive session tonight. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Good night, everyone. Thank you.